Hello, and welcome to another episode of Educators, Performers, Creators. My name is Paulino Brenner, and you can see all these shows online live. Today is Sunday, February 7th, 3 p.m. Central Time, or you might be watching the recording. Anyway, you can always participate with us, whether you're watching live or the recording. You can submit your questions to today's artist with the hashtag FON16 on Twitter, or if you're watching on Google Plus and YouTube, you can submit a comment. If you're watching live, I'll do my best to get your question to our artist. Otherwise, I'll send them to them after we are done with the show. And we have today the third installment of a series of artists who have participated or will participate at the Festival of Nations in St. Paul, Minnesota. So we start with some few and quick introductions. We have two lovely ladies from the Czech and Slovak Cultural Center. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Doing great.
Absolutely. Could you please introduce yourselves?
Yes, we can do that. My name is Renata Ticha. I am the president of the Czech and Slovak Cultural Center. I am also an educator. I work at the University of Minnesota. I focus on education of all kinds of children, including children with disabilities. I also have an interest in linguistics, so that's one of our components that we'll talk about later.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Nelson-Tunick, and I'm an American of Slovak descent. And I thought that the Czech and Slovak Cultural Center would be an absolutely fun way to explore my heritage and to also get an opportunity to be exposed to many artists and lots of different interesting programming.
Great. We'll hear more about that in a few minutes. And now we have Anne. Hello, Anne.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Please introduce yourself.
Oh, sure. My pleasure. My name is Anne Adabra. I am a dancer. I'm as well a storyteller and an actor as well, an actress. I am a teacher also in life. And I'm very pleased to be part of this show today.
Great, thank you. And last but not least, Joseph. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm doing great. My name's Joseph Reiter. I'm a Anishinaabe silversmith, American Indian silversmith, and I'm happy to be here with you all today.
We're going to start with some questions for Joseph. So again, if you have questions, if you're watching live, click on YouTube and leave a comment, and I'll ask your questions to him. Or if you're on Twitter, use the hashtag FON16. So Joseph, tell us a little bit how you started being a silversmith.
Well, it started out, I've always done artwork. And I used to travel around the country selling paintings. I'd just do that. I'd stop at a roadside scenic overlook and do a watercolor of the landscape and sell it and go to the next place, and just traveled around doing that for quite a while. And in my travels, I was asked if I'd be interested in learning, I was asked if I'd be interested in trading a painting for an apprenticeship in silversmithing. You know, I was a young man at the time, and I said, geez, that sounds like an interesting thing to do. Why not? So I moved down to New Mexico. I did a traditional Navajo apprenticeship down there, and 3 years I worked at that, did whatever they wanted me to do in the shop. And when I finished, I said, I'm moving back to Minnesota. There are no Ojibwe silversmiths here. So that's how I got started.
That's great. And so tell us a little more about, during that apprenticeship, I mean, you're an artist, and I'm sure you love learning new things. But this, for some reason, got fire into you, and you continue with it. So what was it that attracted you to work with the metals?
Well, at first, I can't say I was, it was never an ambition of mine to be a silversmith or work with metals. The way I perceived it was more of a challenge to learn something new that is yet in art form.
Okay. And what are some of the characteristics of working with silver, for example, than other type of metals?
Well, a lot of jewelers don't like working with silver. It's difficult and has unique properties that you don't find like in gold or in platinum. Um, I like it because first off, it's not outrageously expensive to work with. Uh, Also, it's very malleable. You can shape it, you can cut it, you can solder it. It's all very easy to work with once you understand how it works.
Okay. And as an artist, what are some of the themes that you choose to work on?
Well, I'm of Ojibwe and German descent. Ojibwe are known as, we're also called Chippewas, Chippewa Indians, or Anishinaabe is what we call ourselves. So I try to incorporate more of the Anishinaabe part of my culture into my jewelry, whether it be doing a floral design, which is like in our beadwork that we wear, and that's always been made. It's always a floral pattern. So I use floral work, I use wildflowers, and things found in this part of the country. Images that I am, I don't know, for lack of a better term, sort of get a little vision of images, in an artistic sense. So those images uh, led to the style of work I'm doing, I guess I would say.
Okay. So, and I'm interested in some of the ways you expose your work. Tell me a little bit about your involvement at the Festival of Nations, but also what are other ways that you display or sell or bring your work to different places?
All right. Well, yes, I demonstrate at the Festival of Nation because I love sharing how this gets done, how a piece of jewelry gets made. That, and I'm a bit of a ham. When I get a little crowd in front of me, I like showing them the little amazing things that happen in making jewelry. Um, if if excuse me a second here. If I'm demonstrating and something messes up, that just shows everybody it's human, right? So it's like, yeah, nothing works perfect on that every time, but it's always a treat to see people get wonder in their eyes, you know.
And we know the Festival of Nations is for everyone, but we have a lot of school children who are very curious. What are some of the questions you usually get?
Well, they'll look at a finished piece of jewelry, say like a ring, and they'll say, "Oh, is that hot when you're working on it?" Or how do I make it round? Then I'll go and explain the technique, or I'll show them just exactly how it's done. And no, it's not hot when I'm actually handling the jewelry. It's just hot as I'm soldering it or annealing it so I can work on it more.
Okay, and you do all kinds of designs, but also different kinds of pieces. You mentioned rings. What are some other elements? Are all wearables, or some are just more of an art piece to display? What are some of examples of the work that you do?
Well, in my years of doing this, I've done many, many different things, from inlaying somebody's teeth with stones. I replaced a woman's finger one time that had a bit of an unfortunate accident of it being cut off, and so I made her gold and silver fingers to replace it. Um,
Oh.
there's a wide variety of things I do, bracelets, earrings, necklaces, belts, belt buckles, boot bracelets. You could name it. I've probably made it over the years.
Great. So if people want to find out more about you, I'm showing here your website, lineagedesigns.com. And I hope that people get to know you better, not only by coming to the Festival of Nations to see your display there and preparations, presentations, but also get in touch with you. We have a question from Anne. Anne, what would you like to ask Joseph?
Yes, I would like to know, Joseph, do you do as well sculpture, or you only do jewelries?
No, I do sculpture too. Uh, Not a whole lot of it, just because I really put my heart and soul into it.
Okay.
And I'm much easier at pricing jewelry than I am at pricing
Okay.
sculpture.
That's a big world, pricing pieces of art.
Well, if I'm curious, what is the range price for your jewelry?
Well, the starting price, I mean, I make some pieces that are like $24, and they go up from there.
Yes, okay. Good to know.
Thank you.
So, Joseph, thank you very much. Stay with us. You might have a question for the ladies, or someone might have a question for you later. But thank you for sharing this information, and I'm looking forward to see you and your art at the Festival of Nations.
Well, thank you, Paulino, and yes, I'll be staying around and enjoying the show.
Great. Let's move on to Anne. Anne, tell us a little more about yourself and the art that you do.
Okay. Yes. Basically, I do a lot of dancing, traditional dance, folklore, Haitian folklore. I'm originally from Haiti. But as well, I do storytelling, and then some singing going with it. Because in Haiti, when you dance, when you do a traditional dance, you have to sing at the same time. You have to sing, and you need to know how to act, because most of the time it's telling a story. And we have to show the expression, and it's very vibrant and realistic to sometimes. And it's linked to our culture. It's linked to Vodou. It's linked to our history. There is a lot of knowledge passing on in our dances. Yes.
Okay. So, can you tell me what are some of your favorite stories when you're doing storytelling?
One of my favorite one is the story of Teza. It's a, it's a fish, and then like it's a really nice story. Do you want me to tell you, or is that...
no. Tell me why you like it.
I like it for many reasons. It takes in consideration a lot of elements from our folklore. Because we use animals a lot to give messages of to carry out lessons, and then like the story take place in a village, and you can see the mentality that we have. Our parents are really focus and decide for the kids and things like that. And then it's kind of fun as well at the same time. So I like it a lot. Yes.
Great. And you mentioned storytelling. I know that this year the Festival of Nations has a little more of an emphasis on folk tales and folklore, besides what they've been doing all this year. So I hope you get a chance to share some of your stories. So we're not going to tell the story here. Let's get people to come to the Festival of Nations and hear it there.
Yes.
But from what I see from your pictures is that you don't always work alone. Sometimes we work with other people. Is that correct?
Yes, actually, I'm the founder of the Minnesota Haitian Cultural Center. So we have that group of children, we have teenagers, and we have adults as well. A lot of them have parents from Haitian descent. Some are adopted children. Some have nothing to do with Haiti, but they just like to come and learn our dances, and then so they come and dance with us. So we do a lot of activity in the community. Sometimes we go and dance in nursing home. We dance as well in schools. We dance like in block party. We dance in fundraising. Like we have really different range of activity that we are doing. But the goal is just share our culture, share our dance to other people, make it more known, and show them that wow, it's fun too. You know, everyone has something to bring to the community to make it.
Definitely. And
Yeah.
everyone has something to bring to the table.
Yes.
Now, so you work with all these groups, and what is the process of preparing, let's say, for a presentation? If one of our friends out here, maybe someone from a school is saying, maybe I want to try some Haitian dancing, what is the process? They join a group, they rehearse. What's kind of the process to get from I want to participate to perform at a nursing home, for example?
Well, we have some kids that are part of our group. Now, when other people are interested, they just come. For example, if we have an event and they come, they say, "Oh, we would like to be there." So we just them, "Okay, come," and then they come, they practice with us, and then every time we have an event, we ask who wanna go, who wanna, and then they practice again even more, and then we go to the event. Like we have a little repertoire, and time to time we add some more to it. And right now we have like a very, very famous and talented Haitian artist here. Her name is Jinan Sinjus, and now she's giving like Haitian dance class. So we go with her as well. She teaches a lot of dances. Yes.
Right, and I see on some of your pictures
Yes.
that you also bring instruments. So you have the storytelling, the dancing, the singing, the instrument. How do you do it all?
And the drums. Well, because if you're in Haiti, you have to know it all. You cannot dance and not singing. You cannot dance and don't know a little bit how to beat the drums, because you never know. Like when I started, the group I have here, nobody knew how to drum. So I have to start teaching them the drumming. And then that's how I started with my drummers. And then I found out other people coming from other states, from California, and then they say, "Oh, there is a Haitian group here," and they joined, and they already knew how to do Haitian drumming, and that was fun. And then when Jinan came and her brother come to give training as well, and then now it's way better because a lot of people joined the cause, joined the movement, and now it's really more fun.
Excellent. I see that Joseph has a question for Anne. Joseph, what's your question?
Yeah, and are all the stories handed down traditionally in an oral fashion, or
Yeah.
yeah?
Yes,
Okay.
in an oral fashion. And in the 70s, 80s, we started writing them down and have Haitian storytelling books, thing like that. And so, and even at school, they do that with us as well. Yeah, and in the community, like in the village, where the places where there is no school, it's like every night, everyone gathered, and then like there is an elder in the community or someone or that everybody like that tell the stories, and that's how it get passed on.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. So Anne, if someone wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way to communicate with you right now besides coming to the Festival of Nations to see you?
They can either contact me on Facebook or email me. We have a page for the Minnesota Haitian Cultural Center. They can contact me there, or they can just email me at adabra.ann@gmail.com.
Great, thank you. And I'll make sure to include all the contact information for the artist today in the description of this video. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you, Paulino.
Great. And moving on to the Czech and Slovak Cultural Center of Minnesota. Hello.
Hello.
So,
Unison.
that was perfect. Unison. That was perfectly timed. Perfect. Just like we practiced a few minutes ago.
Exactly. But you weren't going to say anything.
Oh, I forgot. So please tell me a little more about yourself and how did you become involved with the art that you're doing?
Yes, well, first of all, it was really nice to hear our colleagues to talk about their art form. And our center is a little bit different, I would say, in that we support a lot of artists from our community, the Czech and Slovak community, but also from Central European community. And we support music groups that come either from the Czech Republic or live here and play Czech and Slovak music, like Druhá tráva, for example, that's very famous in the Czech Republic, and others. And
absolutely, we've Skyped in artists and lecturers from the Czech Republic and Slovakia. We've also worked with other cultural groups, and so it's fun to hear our colleagues talk about their art, because we might be able to come up with some programming that would be very interesting between the two organizations.
And we try to really broaden our focus beyond just the Czech and Slovak republics. It's very important to us that we showcase and highlight the similarities and differences between culture and the art forms in music and dance and literary ventures, and also languages. We do have programming on different languages and bilingualism, multilingualism, and so that's, I suppose, of interest to other cultures as well.
Okay. And can you tell me what activities in the center are you involved with, you two?
Certainly. So a lot of what we're doing is pulling some of the programming together. So we're meeting with the artists, getting a sense of what they'd like to highlight in their programs or their art forms, and then from there bringing it out into the community and tying it together.
Mm-hmm. And then, for example, with I talked about the language piece, and I'm myself multilingual, and so I work with, we collaborate with the Czech and Slovak School of the Twin Cities on putting together a series, kind of a symposium on the benefits and challenges of being multilingual, and so that's something I'm involved with quite a bit.
Great. And how did you become involved with the Festival of Nations? What are some of the activities that you do there?
Mm-hmm. So we are coordinating the cultural booth, and so we're chairing that effort, and that's across multiple groups of Czech and Slovak groups in the community. So we're super excited to highlight the folklore and fairy tales and pull that together with a number of different artistic disciplines. So it should be quite fun.
Right, and also having the education background, we have some strategies how to involve children beyond just looking at our images and looking at fairy tales. But, just this morning we were talking with our Slovak friend about different strategies like coloring and blowing up posters of different stories. And so the education aspect is definitely important for the culture booth.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you also get a lot of questions at the Festival of Nations from children. What are some of the most interesting ones, if we can share them live here?
Well, let's see. I mean, there's always the what is my name in Czech or Slovak. So that and that is, I think, standard across all of the different ethnic groups. But, a lot of times they'll want to know something very specific about what you're wearing. Why is it? I think last year it was the seasons, and they wanted to know, we were highlighting some of the stories, and they wanted to really know the detail of where's the one about the change of the seasons, and isn't there like the burning, that one, So the kids, the kids really want to know those details. And so it's important for us to grab all that in advance.
Right, and again, I tend to speak to the education aspect a lot, and we get a lot of questions about the Czech and Slovak republics and how they fit into Europe. A lot of people come to our booth and think we are still Czechoslovakia, for example, so we do a lot of educating there, as well as about the costumes and the artwork, and
Does your center has its own dancing group or music group, or you mainly support other groups and organizations in the community?
So that's a really good question, and one that is confusing to a lot of people. In the Twin Cities, there are multiple Czech and Slovak organizations. And so one of them is the Sokol, Minnesota. So they have the dancing groups and for children and for adults. We are the aspect of the Czech and Slovak community that does a lot of the coordination across the different groups, and also a lot of the promotion and some of the more literary and educational activities.
Okay, perfect. So we can show some examples that you have on your website of some of your activities. So for example, here I can see you've done some festivities, some conversation groups, of course your participation at the Festival of Nations, and some film showings, all the different cultural aspects. And people can see them here on your website, cs-center.org. When you organize your different activities, what would you say? What are the ones you feel more excited about? Either because there is food and wine, or because you get to wear this famous dress.
Right. I would say, and again, this may be a little different from many of the groups that come to the Festival of Nations. As you know, being from different cultures, each culture has its own sort of old history and some of the traditional aspects of the culture, and also some of the more modern. And so our organization tries to focus a little bit more on what is currently happening in the culture. So let's say, in the Slovak Republic or in Central Europe, and try to tie it to the traditional. So I'm really, really excited for this year. We are going to have a lecture on Radio Free Europe, which is the cultural aspect that's more modern and that covers other Eastern and Central European nations and was very critical in the 80s and 90s for the development of the nations. And so that's one I'm really excited about.
Yeah, and I'm also excited about some of the films that we're sponsoring. We usually sponsor 2 or 3 Czech and Slovak films at the Minneapolis International Film Festival. So I hope folks get a chance to check that out. It's usually in April.
Excellent. And I see that Anne have a question for you. Anne?
Yes, I wanted to know how big is the Czech and Slovak community in Minnesota?
That's a great question. I think it's probably, it's tough because folks don't necessarily always join organizations, but probably I'd say, in terms of immigrants versus folks that identify, probably 2,500 maybe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I would think. I mean, and again, not all of them are necessarily in one organization or two.
How is it for Haitians?
Yeah.
Oh, not that many. I think around 1,000.
That's great.
They are scared of the cold. If they come, they move back to Florida or Georgia, somewhere warmer.
Okay.
I think it'd be fun to pull together a Haitian dance and a Czech and Slovak dance, like festival. I think that would be a blast.
That would be great.
Definitely. Anything else that you would like to share?
I think we really enjoyed this opportunity. It's really nice to be together with other cultures. That's something we really, really enjoy.
Yes.
Perfect. And we'll see more of you at the Festival of Nations. And for everyone who is new to the Festival of Nations, this year is happening on May 5th, from May 5th to May 8th at the St. Paul River Center. And you can go to festivalofnations.com to find more information about the festival and how you can meet these artists in person and continue the conversation that we started today. So, and as for the Educators, Performers, Creators show, I hope you join me for future shows at epcshow.com. If you're interested in talking to me, if you are an educator, a performer of any kind, or a creator of any kind, I would love to have a conversation with you. So for today, I'd like to say thank you to all the artists who participated, and I hope to see you, the artist, and you, the audience, at the Festival of Nations. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.